Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series with me, your host, Guile. This one was sent in to me today by TA for Life. Does sound begin to sound like he is the one and only guy I'm accepting replays from. I promise you I'm not, but he does keep his ear to the ground and tends to pick out some of the best replays for me to look at. And this one, as you can see, is featuring two pretty high-level players. On the requests from comment sections, I have installed that little mod that allows you to see what the rankings are. So you see these guys are pretty high up, both going Aeon mirror matchup, and it's going to be Brainfart versus Jok3r. And you can see they're pretty close in the rankings as well, so it should be a good one. The map is Open Waters, one of my favorite maps, and it is one I think I've done one or two casts on this already, but it's basically open palms with that's been flooded. There's been some kind of accident or something, and the center of the map is flooded. So I think it's absolute genius design. These little upper sections that were supposed to be mountainous originally have been kind of eroded away, and that's where the main bases start. So down here is Brainfart. He has I'm just going to call him Brain because I can't keep a straight face every time I say that. So he's got a land factory out, nice there. He's got his hydrocarbons, going to be shoving the air factory on that, of course, absolutely vital to get that assistance from the adjoining power plant, cut down on the energy costs to build airplanes, which is obviously so important in SupCom. A few early land scouts, or a land scout and an Aurora coming out from Jok3r. Just an early little bit of scouting. It's very typical on these maps, or on this map, to move your ACU to one of these side islands, and that looks like what Brain is going to be doing. Jok3r still in his base, has managed to get an air factory and the land factory up and running, and he's going to start moving off, but he has got one of his engineers to start the naval factory, and that looks like he's well ahead of the curve on Brain, who hasn't started his tool, which is quite interesting. So it looks like he's going to have an early naval advantage. Meanwhile, some scouting happening from Brain, getting an early scout out. Knows that obviously this is likely landfall for one of the engineers or the comm of Jok3r, and indeed an engineer is on his way. He's got a couple of land factories queued up there already. And now Jok3r's ACU is on the move, so he is going to make landfall at one of the side islands. Looks like he's actually going for the same island as Brain's ACU, so that could be interesting. Brain already has 3 factories queued up, so that the fact that he's got there first is kind of crucial, because you want that early construction advantage. The person who can build up the army on an island quicker will generally win out. I mean, obviously, if they're assuming they're of similar standard players. Interestingly, they've selected the same island. I mean, it's a 50-50 chance, unless that was done on purpose by Jok3r when the Aurora and the Scout passed over the ACU. It was about the same time. But more often than not, you see one ACU go one side and the other ACU go on the other. So it's kind of a damage limitation side of things. You know you've got the advantage on at least one island. Meanwhile, Interceptor's taken out by Brain, should give coverage for this transport to get in. It's got a couple of Auroras and 4 engineers on board, so that's some nice build power that Brain has managed to land on that island. So early game looking pretty good for Brain, although he's completely yielded the middle island. He hasn't made any play for it whatsoever. So I don't know, there's a lot of mass on there, 6 mass points that he's basically offering Jok3r for free, but perhaps he's got some other strategy that wants to go after a little later on. Meanwhile, first naval units out for Jok3r, and Brain hasn't even attempted to get a naval factory up, so looks like he's completely bypassing it altogether. Jok3r moving in, he's gonna, I mean, he starts with a sub, obviously, to try and hamper the navy that he assumes would be there, but he's now going to realize that there's nothing there, and he basically has a very good opportunity to get naval superiority. So his second ship is going to be a Beacon class frigate. More build power landing for Jok3r in the middle, or is he making some kind of drop onto the right hand side? He is. Very interesting maneuver here. Or has he thought better of it? No, he's a drop in the sea. Interesting. would not be comfortable leaving those in mid-air if I were him. Obviously his attention is elsewhere. Bombers out for Brain. Finally the naval factories start, but that is going to be too late because that frigate will not let those engineers complete that. So basically naval superiority is going to go to Jok3r, who's got it up and running. And these bombers might make one run by. Not even that. Yeah, no, it does manage to take out. Ouch, 4 engineers. That is painful at this early stage in the game. So, nice pick up there from Brain. Did manage to lose all those bombers to those 4 interceptors, but definitely worth it for the slowdown that's going to cause. But Jok3r succeeding in completely suppressing Brain's ability to get a navy up. And that could be crucial. But we've got 4 land factories, a 5th going up now at the bottom here for Brain. Meets the 3 on the left-hand side who they sort of just started getting their Auroras out. But you're going to feel that Brain is definitely going to have the numbers on this side. And over here you got 4 land factories versus 3, so it's a lot more even. But still, I don't like the fact that Brain has yielded this central island completely uncontested. To see how it goes. He has, however, upgraded to T2R, is getting some swift wins on the case, so he is going to have air superiority. Also has some Spectre gunships out there. And Jok3r knows he can't contend with those, so he gets his frigate on the run and draws those Spectres straight into incoming inties. They are both going to go down. Brain a little slow on the pickup with his swift wins, but should finish up those interceptors. He says stupid gunships. Obviously attention was elsewhere. It's a very nice play from Jok3r drawing those in. Meanwhile a small land fracas happening on the left hand side. Auroras versus Auroras. Occasional artillery piece thrown in. It really does look like Brain is going to have the advantage here. You can see Jok3r moving up his ACU to try and counteract the disadvantage that he's at over here. Of course, Brain is there as well. And that is not going to work well for Jok3r. He's got to retreat and retreat fast, taking a lot of damage from the units as well as the ACU. Seen any overcharges from Jok3r? Has he forgotten to build power storage? He has, so that's something he could well do with. Jok3r gets his ACU out of there in time. So things on this left-hand island don't look good for Jok3r, and also on the right-hand island he is giving ground, but he has got forces of his own, so that is at least a stable fight. And of course he still has the middle island, so it's 6 mass points, although he has missed a mass point. Oh, that has been destroyed. And definitely can get that engineer over there to pick up that mass point. Spectre's doing a great job of keeping this bay free of hostiles, which is pretty important when you don't have a navy of your own. I'm surprised he hasn't tried, Brain hasn't tried to get any kind of navy working at the back here. I guess he feels he's a little well, at a disadvantage. He couldn't risk the investment, and it's fair enough really, because there could be subs all round here that Brain wouldn't be aware of. But on the left hand island he has been royally pinned back, Jok3r, and so much so that he is looking like he's yielding it. He's taken his ACU into the middle of the water, basically knowing that he's lost that left island, I feel. Spectre's doing wonderful work. So you see, I like this. He knows that he's got a good chance at air superiority. He's ahead of the curve on that. Instead of trying to endlessly plow resources into getting up a navy, which of course is very expensive, he's using the tools that he's already got at his disposal, and he teched up air and got ahead of the curve. And you know what? And now, you know, he didn't make a play for this middle island, but he's basically taken out Jok3r. He's going to lose all that stuff, so the middle island's fair game. Brain has won the left island. He's got a good chance of winning the right island. He now has T2 up there. We've got blazes coming in. Aeon, of course, a fantastic choice for this map with all of their hovering vehicles, shield gens and blazes, etc, etc. Spectre's now coming to help finish off this small base on the left-hand side. Really know why he's not moving his units in at the same time. There they go. And that will be the end of the middle base. So despite the fact that Jok3r completely got the drop on Brain in terms of navy, it hasn't helped him, and for a water map, that's it's almost unheard of, really. Very nice pick up there from Brain. Lots and lots of action happening here on the right-hand island. Jok3r looking like he's managing to hold. Brain having to give up some land. It looks like Jok3r has superior numbers. Will win that battle. Lots and lots of mass in the form of wrecks deposited on the ground in the center there, so obviously it's been pretty back and forth. But this full left island in control from Brain. It could be crucial now, though. We've got an Exodus and an Infinity, a destroyer and a cruiser, and of course that cruiser is going to counteract the air superiority from Brain very, very nicely. And of course the damage it's going to be doing is going to wreak absolute havoc. What he needs to do is he needs to get in here and needs to take out this air factory, because that's all that Brain's got at the moment. You see him working on torpedo bombers now, trying to think of the best way to counteract this. Of course, you'd think that on paper that could be it now for Brain, but he just hasn't got the economy to support mass navy now. He's lost the middle, he's lost the left, he looks like he could be losing the right. He's got a lot of inties out in the air, going after the Spectres first and then the Swift Winds. So that is nice work from Jok3r. Managing to hang on this right island is absolutely crucial. If he's going to get any kind of mass to keep his economy up, to pump out more of these ships, he's got to keep going. But he really needs, I mean, let's take a look at the range, for instance, on this cruiser. I don't know if that would reach. Might just reach. That's what his target should be, the air factory. Meanwhile, lots and lots of blazes coming in, so he's got all sorts of problems in a completely different form now. And this is definitely going to be his tactic, is just mass T1, T2 land spam across the water. This is times like this you're definitely happy you chose Aeon. Navy just doing its best to thin out what's left. And a little bit obviously under pressure from all of these land units. Navy's just moving to the right hand side, taking the odd pot shot at this base. And that is a T3 land factory that is now working on harbingers. That is not what Jok3r wants to see. And he's completely yielded the top. So, I mean, superb work from Brain. He's, you know, he's used what he's got where it's been needed, and Jok3r, despite probably making the better call, has lost out. Brain not really having an answer for this Navy that's attacking this base. Wants to hang on to this T3 factory at all costs. Jok3r's not really, has he got the intel? Doesn't necessarily know that that's the T3 factory. It's got an inti flying over now. Should give him some idea. There it is. And that should definitely be his priority now. Going after mass. Lots of T1 land units coming in from Brain. And it's always a horrible feeling when you've lost this significant of amount of map control. You're hemmed into your initial starting location. It's kind of like, well, you're waiting for the inevitable. Interesting, Brain still hasn't managed to secure this middle island despite having... Well, I suppose, actually thinking about it, Jok3r's got this navy, it's flying around, probably doesn't want to expend resources on it when it can get shot at so easily from every location that this navy's likely to be in. So it's going to go round and round this central island. A few more destroyers on the left for Jok3r, taking pot shots at this T2 air factory, but it's pretty much tanking it with the repairing action from all those engineers. Lots of torpedo bombers coming in now, and Jok3r decides to move his ships away, which is pretty wise. I'm sure they're going to get away with that level of torpedo bombers. Lots of inties coming in as a counter from Jok3r. But the fact that Brain is on swift winds and Jok3r just doesn't have the economy to upgrade his air and take back any kind of superiority from Brain. Blaze is going to work very nicely on the destroyers, but T2 land units don't generally fare too well when they're up against Navy in equal numbers. A little bit unfair since the Navy's that much more expensive. Very nice work with the shielding from Brain. We can keep those blazes alive while they do as much damage as possible. Never been a huge fan of blazes. They're fantastic if you get them in high enough numbers. But there's a lovely little Harvey drop that I missed. It's just been dropped on the side island here, and that's going to go to absolute town on the main base of Jok3r. Nicely dodging the shots from the cruisers and destroyers. Brain stopped microing his Harveys, so those last two go down. Just kind of feel like it's stalling the inevitable, but to Jok3r's credit, he's still in there. Couple of transports out, ready to go. But this Navy's still causing problems for Brain. He hasn't really got an answer for it at the moment. And it's one of those problems as well. If you've gone air against Navy, you might get to a decent point. But if they get a critical amount of cruisers, it's going to be moot. But he's only got 2 on the field right now. Those Infinities are looking sparse. And you've got, it looks like 7 or 8 Spectres coming in. Couple of transports, interesting. What Brain really needs is to start work on a navy of his own, or at least upgrade to restorers. Take a look at the economies. Brain is sitting on 100 or 140. Jok3r's sitting on 19. So I mean, in terms of economy, it's over, basically. You generally don't come back from that unless you get some outrageous comm snipe. Jok3r's comm sitting in the water. Just assisting that factory. Brain just commenting on how long it's taking him to win this. Should be focusing on the engineers with those gunships, helping cut down the build power. You just want to slow up the production of this navy as much as possible. Another cruiser out for Jok3r, and that's not going to help Brain. Yeah, they're not ideal. course, if it was Cybran destroyers, they'd be having, well, they'd be a lot more effective. But it's just the fact that Aeon rely on this slow-firing, high-damage Alpha Strike. It's pretty inaccurate against kind of mass, low-value targets. Two really annoying little blazers at the back of Jok3r's base, just going to town on the T1 P-Gens. Hide behind the hydrocarbon. There we go. Take out the hydrocarbon. You can't but help but be impressed by Jok3r's survival instinct. He's done a pretty damn good job for in a game that's essentially been over for about the last 10 minutes. Restorers finally on the field for Brain. You've got to think that that's probably signalling the closing stages of the game. Mind you, I have been saying that for quite some time. T3 factory on hold on the right hand side. Finally, Brain is deciding to do some colony work on this central island. And Jok3r effectively has 2 navies now, because he's not losing many units to Brain's tactics. But I just can't see him forcing an entry point back into this game, and especially not with this horde of restorers that's going to come in. Has he got any cruisers in this bunch? Yeah, he's got 2 cruisers in this bunch. They're going to be primary targets. There goes one, and the other won't be far behind it. And of course, Restorer's so tough, 2 cruisers just won't be enough to effectively counter them. That is going to be the end of this little forward navy, and this backward navy that's hanging by the base won't be far behind it. It's also coming under fire with more mass blazes. T1 Inties coming to try and thin out the Restorers. Unfortunately, Restorers are more dangerous to Inties than they are to Restorers, and they probably get shot down. Brain needs to switch to the cruisers, which he does, straight onto that Infinity on the left, and then it's going to be the one on the right, I'd imagine. Oh, down to the last 2, but 4 more coming in to reinforce. He doesn't like the odds there, so he's going to retreat, save those last those last 4. Screw your cruisers, he says. Well, to be honest, I think you're going to be able to replenish your gunships faster than he's going to be able to replenish his cruisers, so I wouldn't worry about it too much, Brain. You've got to like this tenacity, though. Although I do like this, you know what, he just needs to go in, he needs to take out these naval factories. That's exactly what he's doing. And that is going to be the end of Jok3r. In fact, what he could do is a mass T2 torpedo bomber run, take out the ACU. He's well aware that that's where it is. Or not. He has absolutely no sonar. So he doesn't know where it is. And there goes the naval factory. So no more navy will be produced for Jok3r. It's probably the right call. Not even bother dealing with this. You just don't need to. Your navy was super annoying. I'm sure he meant annoying. But useless because of the stupid walls on this map. I mean, there are a lot of cliffs. If you take a look at the islands, there are a lot of cliffs. But having said that, a combination of navy is usually nice on this map. You know, if it gets to a kind of stage where it is even, you're pinning down section. It allows you to control the middle if you have that naval advantage anyway. So I wouldn't say it was completely useless. I'd say it was generally a necessary part. Brain just played an absolute blinder with his control of his air force. Yes, you did. Super annoying you forgot about navy, but you still won. This shows you. What do I know, really? this little navy now has lost its last Infinity, its last cruiser, and those Exodus will go down. All of the base has been destroyed from Jok3r, so it's just his ACU. Does Brain know where it is? Yeah. Just been watching where the reclaiming beams go. That's so petty. Sitting in the water reclaiming the units. So it's not like he can do much else. I love the fact he could have easily started work on a navy ages ago, Brain, but he's just been making a point of it. It's like, well, I don't need it, I'm not going to. So he is down to 1 submarine and his ACU. And knowing it's over, he's marching his comm up the left-hand side, and it won't be long before that is dead. A T3 torpedo bomber joins the party just a little late. Spectres and Restorers should come in and finish the job nicely. And the GGs are called. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I certainly did. A big thank you once again to TA for Life for sending me that. You always have an eye for the good games. I hope you, as I say, like you said, guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. But for now, that's me signing out.